Enter the Bloom's heart.
Let's go.
Cluster bloom tubes sprout from the floor. One of them, thinner than the rest, has developed a leak, and its bile juices flow energetically into the pool. Hide the tubes into a knot. I wonder if that's a sensible thing to do, but we might as well start with that. You deftly manipulate the tube, kinking it to avoid being sprayed. You sprayed it while you work, and you manage mostly. A few drops of the rancid stuff lands in your boots. With the fluid pressure momentarily relieved, you expertly tie the bloom tube into a knot. When you release it, then the knot holds. No more fluid leaks from this cluster. Level of the pool drops noticeably.
All right.
Block the sphincter with the white synth egg. Oh. Use the sealant palm. Why would you plug it with the synth egg? A sealant bomb. What's the benefit of using the egg? I mean, it's easier to get, I suppose. What's the difference between the spray and the bomb? We can't use the other on the other. Powerful sealant material that could permanently close a medium-sized aperture or hole. Too delicate to use in combat, but you could use to permanently cover or seal a hole. Okay.
Why not?
I have no use for the egg, particularly. I suppose we could use it.
Ready.
But I have no use for the sealants either. Yeah. Maybe? Well, I have no use for the eggs either. The egg is almost exactly the right side to shove into the orifice. You force it into the opening, spraying bloom juice in all directions. It hisses and burns when it hits your bare skin. You ignore the pain. Shove the egg deeper into the flow of liquid has stopped. Tincture convulses once or twice, but makes you chill holes. I don't think this would be I think we should have used the sealant, but what's done is done.
Let's go.
Spray or bomb? Bomb? You drop the middle orb in the opening and it explodes, stopping the flow of bile with a blob of instantly hardened synth. The blocked arteries swell and bulge, but they show no immediate sign of rupture. The last bit of fluid in the pool drains out. There's a hole at the bottom, an entry into the lower chamber. You just need to find a way to.
Yes.
Tie the obedient rope into the tube cluster and use it to descend into the chamber below. You grasp the rope and you can feel its texture adjusting itself to your hands, soft but firm, with fibers that grip your flesh. Your descent is quick, safe and painless, though you have to let go of the rope to drop fast. Nethermost cavity. Bloom heart. Abacus. Wonder if the same Abacus that jumped here. That we released, basically. Navigate the valve doors to discover the entrance to Bloom's heart. The Abukas is the least of our problems, but it'll probably start phasing. I think if we go through here, we can talk to the Abukas. There's a tongue cluster we could use, I don't want to use the tongue clusters, but we might not have a choice. I don't want to use them so close to the creature. Okay, let's talk first. I need to see what our options are. You recognize this weird angular being as an Abukas. It's probably the same one you released from the cyst in the vast interior. It seems to be hunting the scuttling moths. Based on what you've heard, Abukas eat transdimensional energy, so it's probably trying to devour the rifts inside the moths. Leave the creature alone. Yeah, I think we basically have to choose a path.
To action!
I think we want to stay in the same chamber with all of us as much as possible. I doubt the Abukas will win this.
All right.
Okay, let's see what interaction options do we have.
Trouble coming your way.
These sacs look like enormous bladder, shifting and pulsing with foul fluid and air. Their leathery skin is a roadmap of veins and pores. You might be able to tear them open if you try hard enough, which will assuredly anger the Bloom, so leave them alone. Ooh, it's attacking us. We have to use the cluster then. Everyone into this area. Need to know my options with the tongues. Leave them alone. I guess I need to...
Don't mind if I do.
Need to use the tongues then. I don't see an alternative to the tongue use here. Either we dash through these or use tongues. Blast the tongues with the tides. At least this way we won't destroy them. Take control of the tongues and force them to open the nearest doorway. You reach out with... yeah. The sacs blocking the nearest doorway deflate, allowing it.
Why, of course. I feel terrible.
He's doing something, but it's
Don't
not
mind if I do.
terribly dangerous, so I don't particularly care. These are going to bite, so I don't have to care about them. I don't see the abacus is getting stronger. Maybe I don't know. I don't care too much.
All right. All right.
Same thing. Nothing different. Find a way to open the sphincter into the bloom's heart. Use the 2 remaining tongue clusters to exert control or tear it open. So I actually do have to go here. Yay! Okay, okay. I see how it is. You have to use a minimum of 2, but preferably you have to use more. Right.
I'm ready.
Use all
I'm
4.
always ready.
I'll use all 4. It seems like while the Bloom doesn't like this tongue thing, it would. It's a preferable choice to just physically smashing through it. So that's what we're going with.
Don't mind if I do. Never felt better than I do right now.
My main character is the only one who needs to get through though. Right, the rest don't. You absolutely have to go through here though.
Now. All right. All right.
Ooh, a trans-dimensional rift tears open and several humans have blood. Inkpot. Great Devourer has called us to the heart. You recognize the shrill voice of Inkpot, the Bloom Cultist. A trespasser and defiler is tormenting our god. Let us punish him, brothers. Oh yeah.
I don't feel happy or good.
Yeah. I need to do something about this. I don't care what happens to these. Nova. What is Nova? Something. Shrug. Don't really need any of this. What I need is the ability to protect the last cast off.
It's all in the flick of the wrist.
Who the fuck is that? Every time someone attacks one of the moths, they get teleported away. Interesting.
On my way.
Okay, the abacus will distract them maybe for a turn or two. But not long anymore.
Yes.
It opens for the Bloom cultists. Not actually bad. Because he's dead. I'm desperately trying not to mass murder them, but I think that's a mistake at this point. Right, there's at least 2 mages now and 3 of these. I can't really do much about the mages.
You never had a chance.
I can kill that one. Sure, is that really all that big of a deal?
Down you go. All right. All right.
One more remains, yeah. The flash is gonna be a problem. Stasis. Ooh. I'm unable to do anything, but I think I'm also protected from damage. Cannot move and or take action, and cannot be the target of any ability. I suppose they can still attack me.
Coming. All right. All right.
Now the waste bill. Approach the Bloom Heart to open the passage inside. Right. Do I kill Inkpot before I do? There's more cultists being summoned constantly. I think this is not a time where we want to start fighting. Killing Inkpot might give us something, but I think we basically want to retreat into the Bloom Heart. Right, we are being overwhelmed.
I don't feel happy or good. Finally, something to do.
I need to interact as quickly as possible so I know what our options are. Your mastery of the tongue cluster scattered around the chamber seems to have masked your scent, or perhaps made your entry more palatable. Whatever the case, the thick skin in front of the hearts thins slowly, almost reluctantly, fluids pumped away by some strange internal anatomy. The skin hangs like curtains of oozing meat, and the wound's heart pulses from within.
All right.
Party scattered, so we can't retreat yet.
That That's the stuff.
Be able to retreat on Eurydice's turn.
Fine. Never felt better than I do right now.
Yeah. Not that bad.
Forward.
What do we want? The anamnesis. Some of the recollection things are starting to be very, very difficult. I don't care about these. Increased edge? No. Increased effort? No. I think I'll just take a skill, the memory skill at least. Alternatively persuasion, but I don't know. Anything could be useful.
Why not?
Ahead you see a mass of bloom tongues, bigger than any you have encountered thus far. They wave gently as if beckoning you forward. Your companions hesitate, looking to you. How should I approach this Tiber? You're asking me? I didn't want to come here in the first place. He wipes his forehead, his easy smile gone. Be smart, lad. You know what you came for. Don't accept any less, and don't give any more than what it's worth. That's all I've got. There it is. Thinking? Nothing. A broad smile splits his face. But this is the greatest adventure a hero has ever adventured, isn't it? Yeah. Actually, I'd like Tiber to come with me because he has speed. I don't. Tiber raises his hand in front of him, palms like, "Oh no, I've followed you everywhere so far, but here's where I draw the line. Come on." Ah, we healed our intellect. I say I have taught you a thing or two, haven't I? I don't know if we can outsmart it, but I'll help you just for that bit of blandishment. It was well done. There it is. Are you kidding? I was going to ask you to follow me. Yes, let's attack this beast in its wiggly bits. Yeah, let's do this. Before you looms a twisted mass of tubes, arteries, roots, and tongues, heaving and pulsing in the murky light. The flesh glimmers with foul shades of purple and black, pocked with pustules and necrosis. Bloom whispers gather, swarming over you like flies, buzzing and chittering and hissing. Millions of them. All the voices that comprise the Bloom's mind are converging in this one place. As you step closer, Bloom tongues surround you, drawing you into a wet, nauseating embrace. Though they seem solid and corporeal, they somehow pass through your flesh, thrusting into your head, your limbs, and your guts, igniting prickly hot-cold sensations all over your body. A multitude of Bloom voices hiss and babble with rage. You cannot understand their words, but their meaning is clear. You don't belong here. The voices invade your mind, sweeping aside your thoughts, establishing themselves within. Your companions groan beside you, trapped in the same embrace. Resist the voices. You grip the magmatic amulet and close your eyes, focusing your whole consciousness on a single thought. Get out. Your thought is magnified by the amulet, cutting through the cacophony of the Bloom voices. You think the words again. Get out. This time your inner voice drowns their out theirs. They chitter and buzz in confusion, their onslaught broken. Now you command them. Get out now. At once the voices turn to hisses of frustration and shrieks of rage as they flee from your mind. The voices become more distant. They whisper and buzz to each other, barely audible, like a vast conclave that is locked away behind a heavy door. You find that you can move again, albeit slowly and awkwardly, constrained by the wriggling tongues that have merged with your flesh. Infiltrate the Bloom's mind. Slowly, carefully, you extend your thoughts into the tubes and conduits of the heart, gently testing your ability to contract a muscle here and widen an artery there. You can hear the Bloom voices all around you, but they don't seem alarmed. Either they don't sense you at all, or they don't perceive your intrusion as a threat. As you explore the limits of your new perceptions, you begin to understand the heart's composition. Fleshy nodules that serve as sensory organs, the tubes and arteries to feed the intelligence that swells here, the roots of innumerable whispering minds that descend to this spot from every corner of the Bloom, tangling together to join their voices into a mad, chaotic unit. You could observe or take control. Bloom's memories versus Bloom's thought. We came here for a single thing though, so maybe you should focus on that. Search the Bloom's thoughts for the abducted scholar Ishin. Yeah, guaranteed successes here. Failure could be catastrophic. While your thoughts are joined to the Bloom's, you can almost understand its voices. A whisper will spark a fleeting image in your mind's eye. A hiss will elicit a flash of anger or desire or some alien emotion that you can't even comprehend. As you listen and watch, you see occasional images of a vague human figure. When you focus on them, try to hold them still, you see an isolated pocket of flesh, a cyst filled with thick black juices in which the man floats, curled up like a fetus. The cyst is wrapped carefully in fleshy tendrils and knotted muscles, watched closely by tiny chittering minds that were spawned for exactly this purpose. Examine the Bloom's memories. I am sort of interested. It's not strictly what we came here to do though, but it could. I'm interested, and it could give us an advantage of some sort. Again, must succeed challenges. Floating unnoticed among the Bloom's innumerable voices, you allow yourself to drift deeper into its mind. As the voices whisper amongst themselves, you begin to see brief images, hear sounds, and feel hunger or satiation. These are its memories of the past. Screams echo in your ears as men and women are pulled into maws, their thoughts and personalities devoured, or simply altered, scrambled, changed into monstrous forms. You see limbs torn from bodies by eager Bloom tongues, eyes plucked out so that tendrils can slide gently into their sockets to reach the brains. For a moment you see Gristler, the Bloom guide, trapped in the embrace of a maw. You can taste the raw flesh of his legs as the maw tears them off and devours them. You know in that moment that the Bloom will eat of him again and again, reveling in the taste of his undying fate, that it will provide for him. a fate that is so ill-founded. And everywhere you see and hear the Memobira, flashes of her early days, gathering followers to overthrow the old Memobira, while publicly pledging her loyalty to him. The rebellion against him as she slaughtered his people and dragged him down to the heart, binding him so that the tongues could feed upon him slowly, and all the years of her ruthless rule. In all that time she has never changed. Her face is the same now as it was when the Bloom first saw her. Deeper. All around you, the whispers and chitters yield to more alien sounds, clicks and gurgles and dissonant tones. The memories change with them. Monsters stalk the corridors of the Bloom, gelatinous hulks with flickering letters and numbers writhing beneath their skin, multi-limbed machines with legs that skitter through 100 dimensions at once, godlings formed from city-killing detonations, with voices of fire and smoke and screams. Flashing before your eyes are all the worlds the Bloom has seen, in their hundreds of thousands. You can sense the city creature crawling across time and dimension since the universe was young, perhaps longer. Its voice is changing, its flesh adapting, its senses changing. Your mind begins to hurt, barely able to comprehend the sensory impressions that are contained within lost distant memories. Fighting the urge to scream, you disengage at last, allowing yourself to drift slowly back to the surface of the Bloom's mind. And yet, even with that brief exposure, your senses have broadened, and you are better able to comprehend the impossible. Not even your sire dared to gaze so deep into the alien mind. More intellectual. Try to take control of the arteries that lead to the heart. Sensory organs around the heart. Let's take sensory organs first. If I take control of the fibers and muscles that guard vision, um, is that really a solution? Can I even treat it like this? I don't know. But sensory organs, I think going for the eyes, trying to blind them first would be a sensible thing. I would imagine controlling the arteries would be like trying to kill the heart. That's not really what my goal here is, but I think we must temporarily try to blind them from what I'm doing if we want to have any success in freeing Ishin. Alternatively, do something else with the man. I don't know. Yeah, these have to succeed. There's no question of uncertainty. Quietly, cautiously, you extend your consciousness into the bloating little sacs that quiver on the surface of the heart, and within its many conduits. If you wished, you could put them into a sort of slumber that would make it harder for the Bloom to sense your presence. Put all the sensory organs around the heart to sleep. All over the heart, the blubbery nodule slowly deflates, sinking into torpor. To your relief, the Bloom makes no sound of alarm. I'm not touching the arteries. They're vital to it. Very likely. It's a heart. You can't block the fucking arteries. Try to gain control over the fibers and muscles that guard vision. Yep. I can't accept any failure rate. Not with this. I feel like if anything here fails, it's an absolute catastrophe with very uncertain results. So this is the time to burn through your intellect pool. We have pool to burn through. Moving slowly and cautiously, you follow the faint whispers of the tiny chittering minds that watch over Ishin. They're not far from the heart, centered around a foul little cyst, just as you suspected. When they sense your approach, they squeal in alarm, but you overwhelm and silence them. You sense the remains of a transdimensional rift in the cyst, probably the same rift that the Bloom used to capture Ishin in the first place. It should be possible to reopen the rift and set him free, but the Bloom will know when you do. Uh, yeah, this is gonna suck, but do it. Reopen the transdimensional rift in Ishin's prison and set him free. You whisper softly to the rift, and it begins to take shape. Ishin stirs, and the knotted muscles that surround the cyst tremble with alarm. The heart is slow to respond thanks to your limited control of its functions, but as the rift is about to open, thousands of chittering voices hiss in rage. They rock the cyst to and fro, causing the rift to unravel again. At once the bloom voices rise all around you, shrieking and chittering, trying to cast you out of its mind. Maintain your presence into Bloom's mind. Yeah, easy peasy. The Bloom's innumerable voices swarm over you, but your will is strong, and you stand firm. A terrible groan, like the cry of some undersea leviathan, shakes the whole heart. Then the voices go quiet, and a scene begins to play out in your mind's eye. A memory, stolen by the Bloom from someone else. The perspective is a woman's, and she is speaking to a man. You recognize the changing god at once, though his body is an old one, of long ago. The pair stand upon a circle of gold, the sky overcast and clouded above them. Meal a best. Not even your handiwork is proof against time, murmurs the woman, turning her face from the changing gods to hide it. I'm a monster, she thinks, rotting from the outside in. No, Maralel, says the changing god. I've no way of fixing you, but you need not live in shame. He reaches into a pouch, and the woman knows what he means to give her something. His gifts are always wondrous, but if you accept them, you are never the same again. Changing God hands her a mask. The expression is enigmatic, she notes, just as their relationship has become. A pretty thing, she says, feeling bitter, disappointed. Can just as well wrap my face in bandages or cover my head with a sack. Put it on, he insists. Of course, she realizes there is something more to this gift. She raises it to her face. The memory stops, cut off by the bloom. Its voices chitter, insistent. They want you to finish it, to recall your sire's memory of this event. Help the bloom to find this memory. You delve into your hidden memories, seeking the moment the bloom has just showed you. To your surprise, the bloom voices are beside you, helping you focus, pushing aside similar memories that distract you. At last, the memory surfaces. It isn't exactly as the woman remembered. The details are different, like the color of her robe and sky above, clear and blue in your sighter's recollection. But now you recognize her for who she is. Maralel, the first cast-off. She holds the mask you give her. Put it on, you hear yourself say, and she places the mask over her face. At once it seems to melt with her flesh, and her face becomes that of a lovely young woman. Her eyes widen, knowing that something has changed, and you hold up a looking glass for her to see. She laughs aloud, a sound you haven't heard from her in years. You can change your face at will. Try it. Maralel nods, watching the looking glass carefully as her face morphs into that of an old woman, then a homely beggar lady, then a Bargellan, and a dozen more. The last face you see is dark-haired, regal in bearing. It is the face of the Memovira, accompanied by a distinct sense of hunger from the bloom. Memory fades. The heart offers no explanation as to why it showed you this memory, but the implication is clear. The Memovira is merely a disguise, a mask that conceals the first cast-off. He has been alive, hiding behind a false identity for years. Try to ask the bloom why it showed you the memory. You try to form the question in the way the bloom will understand, but you either fail or it ignores you. Instead, the air of the chamber ripples. At once the transdimensional rift tears itself into being, and a human figure tumbles out. dripping black juices, coughing and gagging, vomiting on the floor. You recognize the man at once. It's Mazza, the cast-off artificer you met in Zerian Daywalker's Mere. Your first thought is that the Bloom has somehow tricked you, released the wrong man, but no. The Bloom's voices are insistent. Ishin is Mazza. The first cast-off concealed the truth from you to avoid arousing your suspicion. For the moment, Mazov is recovering from his ordeal, barely aware of his surroundings. He hasn't even seen you yet. Bloom tongues slide painlessly out of your body, setting you free. They show no further interest in you, and the whispering voices are gone from your mind. Mazov rises, clutching himself, and he abruptly vomits a clot of black fluid onto the glistening flesh beneath his feet. Small red wounds mar the flesh between the wires crisscrossing his skin. Guards! Guards! He looks up at you. His mechanical eye socket spin, wheels within wheels, focusing on your face. You're the cast-off that was riding Zerian Daywalker. What the hell are you doing down here? How did you recognize me? Muscle movements, he says, grimacing. Small variations on expression. As good as a signature for those who know what to look for. He coughs more of the black fluid against the back of his wrist. You didn't answer me. What are you doing down here? I thought I was rescuing someone named Ishin, but here you are instead. Yeah, that's me. It's a nickname. Short for Ishinizar, because I look like one, whatever it is. But no one calls me that except... He pauses and smirks. The first sent you, didn't she? Not surprised. She won't be getting the resonance chamber working on her own. It's all too easy to destroy the damn thing if you don't know what you're doing. Something about the words said in his voice stirs a memory in you. Resonance chamber, resonance chamber. Sensation builds. He winces, teeth clenched. God, the Bloom is a terrible host. Stuck its damn tongues into my gut to force feed me. Filled my lungs with bile. Not sure what you did to get me out, but thank you. He spits a black-tinged wad of phlegm over his shoulder. Well, how do we get out of here? She's waiting, and you know how she is. Hold on. How did you end up a prisoner to begin with? The Bloom took me, he says with a careless shrug. Not a surprise. It's not a happy with the first, but you probably already know that. So it took me because it knows I'm important to her. He says this casually and without the faintest hint of pride. Anyway, I should get back to the first. She's going to be, well, you know. I don't know, actually. I thought I was working for the Memovira until just a few minutes ago. His expression goes wooden. Shit. Look, don't tell her I said anything. I don't need anyone shouting at me right now, let alone her. This is the worst headache I've ever had. But a headache is uncoiling through your head now as well. Alarm spreads over Mazza's face, and he reaches out to catch you as you topple forward. You're underwater. The fading pulse of a sonar alarm ripples through the water, then is gone. An invisible pressure crushes your body, squeezing your head. A Gibra with a cast-off tattoo rises from the dark to confront you. I should have known. You need something of you hours to finish your resonance chamber, don't you, father? He regards you with scorn. You haven't learned anything. You would sacrifice all of us for a chance at survival. You and the first. Pride blinds you both. You're wrong, Tom, you snarl. Yet his words frighten you. Is he saying Maralel is alive? With her own plan to stop the sorrow? She must be stopped. Any plan of hers would be dangerous. I built the resonance chamber to save us all, you say. It has the power to weaken the sorrow. I can kill the creature. A half-truth. The chamber certainly has the power, but who knows if it would be enough to kill. Will you apologize to me then, selfish child? Will you beg for my forgiveness?
Making a note.
You lie. You always have. Although your motives differ, Maralel's plan and yours will result in the same end, the destruction of every last cast-off. I will not allow this to happen. He makes a complicated gesture with his fingers, and the pressure on your head increases. Tom's voice grows muffled and fades as your mind, your sire's consciousness, flees his imprisoned body, abandoning it to the Gibra in favor of a new host. You return to consciousness, the headache fading. Your mouth tastes of seawater or blood. Light and wet heat bathes the side of your face as the bloom opens a transdimensional portal. You can't be sure where it leads, but it's certainly your only way out. Someone, Mazza, is praising you, holding you right. You're alright. Mazza, what is the first plan with the chamber? To sever the... He gives you an odd look. You know, maybe you should ask her. I don't know enough about what's going on here. Just know that it'll free us from the sorrow without sucking us all into someone else's mind. That should be enough. She can't do it without me, though. I best be getting back. Right. So, we at least have 3 paths. We can try to kill the sorrow, we can cut our connections to it, or we can merge somehow, I suppose, into a hive mind. That explains why there have been so many these type of communal creatures or entities in this game, like fuck. I forgot the woman's name that we encountered at the start of the game. Now the bloom and everything, it's giving us different type of examples of what we could expect, what that type of an existence would be. So we don't have to guess when we are presented with the choice. I don't know. I honestly don't. It looks like it's I think I'll try to start thinking about it a little bit, so when the potential option at least comes our way, I don't have to think about it for 15 minutes then and there. Patting you awkwardly on the shoulder, he limps past you into the portal and vanishes. It is only when he's gone that you see the glittering contours of a small object lying where Mazaf was standing. Mirrorcaster. Must have fallen from Mazaf's pocket. You wipe the slime from the joints of the machine and add it to your belongings. Frictionless Mirrorcaster.
I'll remember that.
Huge success. This reminds me. Can I use this to summon Rin? Residue. It never even occurred to me because it didn't work initially. But would it work now? The button depresses only slightly. You hear the brief shriek of a sound like Rin. Then the button stubbornly rises again. Examining it more closely, you notice 2 small concentric circles lying at the foot of the tree. It looks surprisingly like Rin's god owl. Suddenly, a flashing light forces you to shield your eyes. When you look again, the circles and the tree sigil are gone. So, no. Well, it was worth a try. Actually, I'm glad nothing happened because I would have felt like a stupid piece of shit for not trying it earlier. Still don't know how to kill myself. So Erid is sorry about that, but I think your problem is never gonna get solved at this rate. And here we are again. We race this time. Let's trudge on. Not actually in that bad of a shape. My speed is the only thing that's a little bit weak. Otherwise, we're actually in great shape. I also can't really heal through spells during a
Never
fight,
get enough of that.
so
I can breathe again.
ah,
Yes.
how the fuck can I get to the labyrinth? I'd like to get to the labyrinth before going to meet the Memovira again.
Why, of course.
I can't think of a way to... Yeah, that would have been the way to... At least one way to pick the fight.
All right.
I'm not drinking this shit. We collect more of it? Yeah. Okay. Just in case we need it. So there's no real reason to not risk that. Wounded artifact or 30% evasion. I'll buy this. Even if I don't use it now. Right. Negative on armor, that's not that big of a deal, and I think I have Cypress, it can massively boost armor. Yeah, I think we need to shift things around a little bit. Active for firearms. Yeah, I'm not gonna do anything now.
Don't mind if I do.
How can you kill yourself? Well, I can... No, I can't actually think about a way to how to do it without causing a huge amount of fuss.
Naturally.
I'm gonna take a little bit of a look around. That's the only thing I'm particularly interested in doing at the moment.
On it.
Could I... There's a killing machine in this house. Could I ask him to use the machine to kill me? I doubt it, because if that would work, I could just ask my own companions to do it. Ooh, I'll buy some refined mosses, all of them. Maybe a couple of these too, and yeah. That's a lot of our money down the drain, but I don't particularly care who we can get rid of. Some of this is totally worthless piece of crap. Disruption blade. I don't care. A lot of crap. A huge amount of crap. but it's still money stored within us, so we can just sell it if something very interesting comes our way. More importantly, I can increase my own speed a little bit. I'm not sure why I'm so keen on not resting. I suppose the moment...
Go.
No, I think I was avoiding resting before I realized how it affects things. I don't know. But now, at the moment that I realize that it actually does make a difference, now I'm very unwilling to just go and rest unless absolutely necessary.
Why not?
You never know what you might miss. I think I'm probably going to miss some options because I'm doing that. So, could you kill me, please? No.
All right.
How do you kill yourself? Does something do even damage here? I don't think so. Trade post might have something. We could fight the Murdens, but we'd have to lose that, and intentionally losing with the... I mean, I'm going to be probably fine, but these guys aren't.
Naturally.
I am the very soul of action.
There's really nothing new here, and I don't know how I could kill myself. I just can't think of anything.
Why not?
Not sure if I could think of anything useful.
Yes. Now.
Yeah, I'm seeing all the options no matter what I do, so I think
Go.
I'm just gonna leave it. Let's go meet the Numenera.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll get a chance to deal with Eretus' problem. I feel that the game is unnecessarily tough on that. How to get to the labyrinth. It should be a trivial task. Can't I just fucking go into learn some kind of a trance or something? With tranquility or someone like that? That would seem like a logical choice. I don't understand what's the point of making it difficult, basically, that's what I'm saying.
Fair
What
enough.
type of what service, what purpose does that serve in this game? It was sort of similar in Planescape Torment, but it was not, because you quite literally had a huge amount of ways to just kill yourself. And it was never really like this, where you had to do quests, perform quests to get things done. There were a few places where you had to abuse the ability to just resurrect, but that was because there was instant death traps or things like that, that you had to die there. It was the entire point of the gameplay there. So here it's just some kind of a side activity that you still have to do, but
Ready.
I don't understand why they've made it so hard, because logically speaking, killing yourself would be trivially easy. With Estus you have weapons and all kinds of that type of stuff. You have companions, so you should be able to kill yourself, no problem. So there has to be a gameplay reason or something like that to make it harder, to ignore the obvious option of just killing yourself. And I can't figure out what that would be.
Go.
It's done. If Eridus gets fucked over this, I'm gonna be somewhat upset. I suppose if I would have gone to extreme lengths, like picking a fight and then intentionally losing it, I could have gotten there. But if that's how you have to do it, then I feel that's bad gameplay, basically. I'm not willing to do that. If I can just kill myself, like drinking the Drinking the poisons in the bar in the first section of the game, or sticking your hand maybe somewhere where it doesn't belong, so you kill yourself. That's one thing. But yeah, intentionally losing crises in order to just get to the maze in your mind, not doing
Why
that.
not?
No way.